Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canandaigua's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. Visit them online at canandaiguadentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you want to know what's happening in the Finger Lakes? We do too. We're going in depth with decision makers in the heart of upstate New York to get the answers you need. From the team of FingerLakes1.com, this is Inside the FLX.
All right, welcome back to Inside the FLX. It is time for our monthly chat with Canandaigua Mayor Bob Palumbo. Mayor, thanks so much for being here. Let's start with the breaking news of the day, which is Canandaigua got hit pretty hard yesterday by thunderstorms. What can you tell us right now this morning? How are things looking in the city?
Well, once again, we got hit this time with wind and rain, no flooding, and no damage to or no injuries to any people. Their biggest strike was at Kershaw Beach. There was some part of a wind event that came right up the lake, and a lot of very old, mainly willow trees were completely torn out of the ground. And it was pretty significant. It's heavy picnic tables down there were in the road. That was pretty bad. And like I said, no damage to people. We didn't get the hail that Victor and Farmington area had. The other area was the access road off 5 and 20, where like Walgreens shut the Ford dealership, and that area up to the water park was just amazing to see. Every telephone pole there snapped. Some were flipped up, laying on other wires. I think there's close to 15 poles that were snapped and down. Drove through there early this morning. They got a lot of the poles cut off, and that's going to be a while before that's back together. A lot of people that were in the establishments there weren't able to get out or weren't able to get their cars out. Even the driveways into those businesses had wires across them, and the whole road was totally blocked. The streetlights are back on there. I'm assuming the power of those businesses is going to be out for a while. Other than that, we didn't have any flooding issues. The pump stations and sewer plant were on generator. All have generator backup, and worked good. Power's back on to most of those as of this morning. We didn't get the report yet. There was last night a lot of Ward 3 area was without power. We've got a report to see if that's back on yet or not. So a lot of cleanup. Very happy to last night about 7:30, I got a text from the State Commissioner of Homeland Security offering their assistance. So I talked to her and got in touch with the county manager and city manager, and they are sending some help through the DOT to help with tree cleanup and removal. So I was happy to get that assistance from the state. So it's really great that they reached out last night.
When you sort of look back, I was combing through the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of stories. I couldn't find any similar weather events. Obviously, the flooding last summer was a significant one for you guys. But as far as wind damage goes in the city, is this one of the more significant events that you can remember over time?
Yeah, it's the most, that I remember that, we've had wind damage and a tree here or there come down, but anything like this, and I guess the Weather Service is sending someone down today to see if it was, microburst or a tornado or something like that. But so they are coming down. Just, the number of poles, the pictures, and what I saw last night and this morning, see that many telephone, just totally snapped off. like they were twigs. It's just amazing, something I've never seen here. It seems something for this week because it's the same week. It was July 9th last year, and the storm event, the rain event we had was on the 10th, and now this one. So this week is our target, I guess.
Kershaw Park. Obviously, you mentioned most of the older significant trees in the park or in the beach area there, ripped out of the ground, basically tipped over, uprooted. From what you've seen, how long do you think it would take to get that sort of cleaned up? That's got to be a hefty undertaking, right?
Yeah, well, I think obviously they were down there at 7:00 this morning, chainsaws going, and with the help of the DOT today and tomorrow to help remove things, we did just about half an hour ago officially close the park for the day, at least for today. In the beach, people were just coming through, and it's hard to get the work done with that many people down there. So I would imagine that I would say by Thursday, should be by the weekend, definitely should be cleaned up.
How different do you think it's going to look once all these trees are pulled out of there? The trees are a pretty significant part. Anytime I've received a picture from someone in my 10 years now at Finger Lakes One that was taken at Kershaw Park, the trees are the focal point. How different, you were there this morning, how different do you think the park's going to look once those trees are out of there?
Well, it's definitely be bare, and they are, a lot of same thing. I see a lot of people taking photographs, are usually, near a tree with a tree in the background. So it is. It's going to be a totally different landscape down there. And, I talked to the city manager this morning about, he was down there with their city arborist and the public works director, and see what we do from here. I mean, obviously, those trees are, the park's been, they're probably 50, 60 plus years old.
Yeah.
Because that part of Kershaw is new. I mean, new relative to, the rest of the city. So, I mean, it's going to take a while to get it back to where it was. But I'm already thinking about what to do next as far as weed cleanup.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the meeting you guys had last week. Pickleball court, raising some concerns. Typically, pickleball is a happy topic, but apparently for some who live around one of the city's courts, not so much. Can you sort of break this down for us in terms of what the primary concerns were and what city council ultimately decided to do?
Yeah, and this isn't a Canandaigua thing. It's pretty much around the country. I mean, the parks are typically in the middle of the city. Sonneberg is the oldest parks, in the city. Started by Mary Clark Thompson. It was part of her estate, right outside of her estate. And it was tennis. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, it was off to the park. So we had Frank Baker football. You played Little League there. Just meet other friends there to play in the park. It was tennis courts. Then several years ago, we changed that to all pickleball courts, tennis courts and other parts of the city. And you have a city park and you want it used, and you want it used as much as you can. And pickleball is just taken off around the country. And this has happened in a lot of communities where just the noise from pickleball. Tennis balls are, soft and fuzzy and don't make a lot of noise. Pickleballs I've never played it. Family members do. And it's in a neighborhood, and actually the complaints started last year with, parks are open 7 a.m. to dusk. And sometimes they were getting out there a little ahead of that. So 6:30, 7 in the morning till all the way through the day was a lot of clicking of the pickleball. So we listened to concerns, and so we're going to change the time frame of pickleball at Sonnenberg from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with hopes that that'll give the neighbors some relief. So that's about it. It's been so we're trying to do we can to trying to get a happy medium to keep the pickleball folks happy and keep the neighbors happy. I mean, there's times that there may be I don't know how they do it as far as who's up next, but there'll be times there'll be 10, 12 people waiting for one group to get off so their group can get in, and it's pretty much every day. You can go up there, like the time it hasn't changed yet, but you go there at 7 in the morning and there's all the courts are filled. And it's like that most of the day.
I was going to say that's got to be kind of a challenging thing to navigate because on one hand, from the city's perspective, seeing a park like that be highly used means you made the right decision, right?
Right.
But then on the other hand, you've got to balance sort of the neighborhood concerns as well. Do you think the 8 a.m. change will be enough to sort of quell some of those concerns with the early morning starters?
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's you put it out there, and you hope. I mean, the residents, were happy we made a change. I don't know how much farther down the road we can go. I know some communities around the country are actually moving their pickleball courts away from residential areas. Canandaigua, we've got a park in every ward. So there's really, wherever you would move it to, I don't know where we'd move it to make it any different. We did have a park study last year, and we're looking at all the parks as far as, renovating the, parks buildings. So we're looking at those things. I mean, if we might have to have a hard look at maybe moving it out of there, but it is. I mean, you want your parks to be used, and we're glad that the parks are used, and there's, a waiting line of people wanting to use it. That's what you really want. It's just kind of trying to accommodate the neighbors as well.
Used, walkable, and centrally located. That's what people want their parks to be. Let's talk about the 4th of July fireworks. Last time you and I talked, you were pretty excited about the prospect of fireworks coming back. They came back. Judging from the feedback that I saw on Facebook, wildly popular. How'd it go?
Yeah, it went very well. We did it on the 6th of July, which was, I think we got in the game a little late. And so the 6th was our next option. The other great thing that I think really moved it along this year is a partner with the town. The town of Canandaigua kicked in about half the cost. And, that just brought it all together. I mean, there was always, last year, a couple of years ago when we stopped it, we really stopped because of an environmental issue. What's it doing to the lake? And assistant city manager dove into that pretty, in depth. And really, found the studies that were already out there, and really there was no harm to the lake. So took that opposition off the line, and then the other was financing and resources. And when the town called, Jared Simpson, we talked about it, and they offered to their town board offered to put in half the cost of the total event. So fireworks itself is about half the cost of the event. The other part is the overtime for city staff, police, public works, fire, for the day of the event. There's a lot that goes into the preparation, a lot goes into the keeping everybody safe during it, and then the cleanup afterwards. So the total cost of the whole day between the fireworks and the others, which is about $35,000. So having the town partner really put it over the top that okay, we can do it. And the night was a beautiful night, and we did a lot of really good, so the same feedback on Facebook, and just the calls that I got and the text messages that I received from residents and people just in the area that were people come from all over for fireworks. So it was great having it on the 6th, and for a wonderful end of the week.
I have to assume that even though there is that cost, you guys are probably also thinking about the influx of people and therefore dollars into the businesses around there and in the city and even in the town as well. That day, because it's an event. It's an entire day. You're at the very north end of the lake. Is there any way you guys sort of estimate what turnout is for something like this or for a day like this?
I don't know if we can go back and figure that or not. I mean, it's, I'm sure people were here. They, buy gas, they go to the restaurants, even if they, wherever the park was full all day, a lot of cooking out, hanging out there. So, I mean, even if they brought stuff from somewhere else, they bought something somewhere to come here and, and spend the day. So that's definitely, anytime you have an event, that brings people to Canandaigua, the area, there's always that, nice that there's some, revenue being generated for the businesses and for the city and county as well.
Yeah. Last question here for you. Floor is yours. What were the biggest items that you guys addressed on the agenda this past week from your vantage point?
Well, one great thing that came up was we have AEDs in all the parks. Group came in and got a grant for that. The gentleman one company came to our finance meeting last month and had what this unit would be. It's weatherproof. It's vandal proof. So now we're going to have AEDs in all the city parks, which I think is really, really a neat thing. We approved that the other night. The other thing that came up, it's going to be a change, is that where you come off the pier, it's always been an issue there. No left-hand turn, right turn only. Earlier in the summer, I had a couple of citizens that were concerned about the people crossing from one side of Lakeshore Drive to the other. So we looked at some options there. So coming up by the end of the month, there'll be a 3-way stop when you get to not going into the pier, where you come off the pier. So where Scoop's restaurant or Scoop's ice cream stand is there, and the outlet, there'll be stop signs east and west of Scoop's, and a stop sign coming off the pier. So now you'll be able to turn left or right, and hopefully with stop signs there, it'll be a little safer for pedestrians crossing. We talked about maybe push, the button with the flashing stoplight or flashing crosswalk sign, and we decided that this would help with the coming off the pier, being able to turn left and right, and also help with the pedestrian traffic. So we'll see how that goes. That should be coming by the end of the month. Hopefully that'll solve some of that and make it a little safer to cross that, because there's an awful lot of foot traffic. Again, that's what we want. You want foot traffic down there.
Yeah.
And you want it to be safe. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that'll work. Another thing, our bid director, this weekend's a big weekend for Canandaigua. It's an arts and music festival downtown, and the weather sounds like it's going to be fantastic. So we're expecting a lot of people in town for that. So a lot of good things going on.
Mayor, as always, appreciate the time. Thanks for taking it. We will be talking to you next month.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity as well. Have a great week.
Thanks for watching and listening to this episode of Inside the FLX. Check the show notes for links to everything we discussed today. And remember, new episodes of the show drop every Monday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the iHeartRadio app. If you have a question or a suggestion for a future episode, email news@fingerlakes1.com and download the fingerlakes1.com app for the latest breaking news. For the entire team here, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.